Okay, it's 10 a.m., so I'll go ahead and start. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. This webinar is being recorded, and I will post it to our website next week. Today, we're happy to welcome Jenee Priebe, founder of No Good Deeds Art. Jenee spent years building public art programs and leading the Shine Mural Festival, and she's known for her work with artists, community partners, and cities across Florida. She brings a ton of experience in public art, creative projects, and community engagement. After Jenee's presentation, we will have a Q&A session, so feel free to drop any questions into the chat and we will address them at the end. Jenee, you may begin.
Thank you so much. I'm going to share my presentation here. All right, so my name is Jenee Priebe. I'm the founder of No Good Deeds Art, which is a consulting company and project management firm based here in St. Petersburg, working with murals and public art. I'm also a member of the Sunline Coalition, and that's primarily what I'm going to talk about today is the public art program that we're working on here in Pinellas County along the Pinellas Trail. So the Sunline, for anybody that's not familiar, is a grassroots coalition here in St. Petersburg connecting people, nature, and art to steward the Pinellas Trail as a vibrant, people-centered public space that supports community, connectivity, and shared prosperity. So the Pinellas Trail is almost a full loop throughout Pinellas County, and it's also the west coast end of the Coast to Coast Trail. So some of the core priorities of the Sunline Coalition are to help improve connectivity along the trail, right? Creating more safe and accessible pathways, linking neighborhoods and destinations. We're also working to enhance the green space and restore some of those native ecosystems and activate community as well. And the community part is really where the art program sort of falls under. And a lot of what we're doing is based off of these other proven models from around the United States that you may already be familiar with. We're looking primarily at the Atlanta Beltline, which is a 22-mile loop of trails and parks. It's one of the largest public art programs in the United States, and it's brought in billions in economic development and neighborhood revitalization to the city of Atlanta. We're also looking at the New York High Line, which is also a former rail line that's elevated and turned into a world-renowned park. It's a major destination for art, design, and tourism, and attracts millions of visitors on an annual basis. And then also the Miami Underline, also a reuse of infrastructure. This is below an elevated metro line, and they host art installations and community programs all throughout the year, and it helps reinforce the cultural identity through public space. So here in St. Petersburg, the Pinellas Trail cuts right through what we're calling the greater art districts, right? Which is the Waterfront Art District, Central Arts, Edge District, and the Warehouse Arts District. So the trail is an incredible asset for St. Petersburg, and it creates access to so many of the really important kind of cultural locations throughout St. Petersburg. So we're looking to sort of essentially take that a step further, right, and really reimagine the Pinellas Trail as a linear outdoor museum. So it's an opportunity to connect neighborhoods, encourage exploration, and foster dialogue between people and places. This would be a dedicated initiative commissioning permanent and temporary multimedia works by local, national, and international artists, and really keeping St. Petersburg on the map as a world-class destination for contemporary art. The vision is Tampa Bay's longest linear outdoor gallery. And then these are the primary goals for the public art program are to create an elevated public art experience and installations. We want to keep St. Petersburg on the map as a world-class arts destination and connect and engage communities using art. The secondary goals of the program are to encourage safe and environmentally responsible transportation, promote health and wellness through outdoor activity, and increase economic activity along the trail corridor by driving tourism and creating unique cultural offerings. This would be a curatorial approach. So we really want to see the trail become a living cultural corridor, right? So this would include sculptures and installations, murals, mosaics, suspended works, waterfront installations, functional art like benches, lighting, digital art, and interactive pieces. And all of this is integrated into nature, which is also one of the guiding principles of the program, right? So first and foremost, public art is free and accessible to the public, right? So being able to create opportunities for people to engage with art without admission fees, without any barriers. It's art that finds you where you are. It's an incredibly valuable asset for a city. And we also want to make sure that this program is synced with nature. We want to complement the existing landscape and add to the biodiversity here, right? And really bring in more of that green infrastructure through a public art program, that whenever a piece of art goes in, that there would be landscaping and native greenery that goes in with it, and vice versa. If there's tree plantings that are planned and other landscaping planned, that there would be a piece of art that would come along with that initiative as well. And we also want to spark dialogue, right? We want work that is going to invite people to be curious about it, invite people to talk and have conversation, and really expand the sort of cultural landscape here in St. Petersburg. So that's kind of the goals. Now, these are some of the reasons or some of the benefits of creating a public art program. And first and foremost is the social impact, right? So you really have an opportunity to use public art to create common ground for people, right? We're connecting these neighborhoods, we're connecting people and communities that may not otherwise connect with one another. We're democratizing access to art. Again, kind of mentioned this before, but being able to create opportunities for people to engage with art without having to go to a museum and maybe pay a high ticket price to be able to access that, or maybe audiences that might never go into a gallery to go view art, they can find art right where they already are. That community connection piece, creating these shared experiences through art, and also just making St. Petersburg a destination, right, as an arts city, and have this creative identity. And when it's done well, right, you have people coming as a destination. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we talk about the economic benefits. But so we have those social benefits. We have health and environmental benefits too, right? We already know that being out in nature has proven to have better health outcomes, right? Physical activity is proven to add to your health and wellness. And also making or experiencing art can increase your mental and emotional well-being. So when you put all of those things together, you have an exponential possibility of increasing people's health and wellness, right? And we also know too that people will go where the art goes. So you have an opportunity to pull people into places in your city that maybe they wouldn't go otherwise in search of art. Maybe they saw something online, or they just know that there's more along the trail. They're more likely to go and explore those places. And then kind of getting into the economic benefits of creating a public art program, we have the creative workforce development, which is an important part of a creative ecosystem, right? When we think about the fact that every time a piece of public art is commissioned, that artist is getting paid, but it also has this cascading effect of other creatives that are getting paid as well, right? Usually there's a fabricator involved, there's a designer involved, there's probably an engineer involved. All of these different parties are also benefiting economically from a single commission. And then taking that even another step further, right? We talked again about how people will go where the art goes. So you have an opportunity to get people to really explore new spaces, which then turns into local spending. We know from other studies that we've done here in St. Pete that it's really those local businesses surrounding the public art that get the most economic benefit out of that piece of art, right? Those cafes, the restaurants, the galleries, the shops, people will go view the art and then spend money at all the businesses surrounding that piece of art. And you also have the ability to create a powerful destination driver. I sort of touched on that a moment ago, but when you think about for example, the Bean in Chicago or the Statue of Liberty in New York City. These are pieces of public art that have drawn in millions and millions of visitors from all over the world to see public art. And then we also know from other studies that cultural travelers are more likely to spend money. In fact, they tend to spend almost twice as much money as other travelers, and they tend to stay longer as well. So if your community is looking to increase tourism, bringing in art and cultural experiences is a really great way to do that. Here in St. Pete, the Sunline Public Art Program, we've sort of found ways that it was in alignment with existing plans for the art community here in St. Petersburg. So there's a lot of ways that this lines up with the comprehensive art strategy that was put together in 2021 by the city and the St. Petersburg Arts Alliance, as well as the city's 2050 vision. And then even expanding beyond that into the regional goals through Visit St. Pete Clearwater, which is our local tourism agency that's really looking to expand visitors' experience beyond just the beaches, right? We know we have great beaches here. Most people know we have great beaches here. But again, wanting to kind of tap into those cultural travelers that we know are going to spend more money and spend more time in our communities, if we can kind of pull them off the beach onto the trails into different parts of the community. So that's really, where what we're working on here in St. Petersburg. We just recently got our Trail Town designation through the state. We're very excited about that and kind of wanting to capitalize on that designation and the honor that that is. We have an amazing asset with the Pinellas Trail and want to, see how much we can enhance that through the use of public art. So I appreciate the opportunity to share what we're working on here in St. Petersburg. My contact information is there below. If anybody has any additional questions and you want to talk kind of offline about any of this and what we're working on, I'm more than happy to talk with anybody. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Thank you, Jenee, for that insightful presentation. We can go ahead and open the floor for questions. You guys are welcome to either unmute yourself or type any questions that you have into the chat box. I have one question here. Are the art installation and sculptures in the beginning of the slide on the Pinellas Trail right now? And is there a website to view current pieces on the trail?
Great question. No. So the pieces shown, other than the murals, so this is a brand new program that we're working on here in St. Pete. These are our goals, but it's very new. So the sculptural pieces shown in the presentation are not from this area, although some of the murals, I think most of the murals, or if not all of the murals in the presentation, are here in St. Pete. Eventually, once we get enough pieces up there, I would love to see a map that people could reference. I will say, as far as the murals go, the best place to view a map of those would be on the St. Petersburg Arts Alliance web page. They have an interactive Google map that shows all the murals that were produced through the festival, which are most of the ones along the trail, for the first 10 years. So, and there's about 200 murals that we produced through the festival that you can find on that map.
Righty. Another question that I saw was, how would you submit any installation ideas that you may have?
Oh, amazing. Probably the best way would be just to reach out to me right now through my email, nogooddeedsart@gmail.com. Certainly open to any proposals. Like I said, we're in early stages of working with the city. There's a lot of momentum around activating the Pinellas Trail now that we have the Trail Town designation. So really the next big step is working on funding to get more of these pieces of art actually installed.
All righty. I don't see any more questions. If anyone thinks of any questions, I will post this online so you'll see Jenee's contact info, or you can reach directly out to us at Office of Greenways and Trails at floridadep.gov. But we'll go ahead and wrap up for today. Again, if you have any questions for Jenee or us, you can email us directly. And please tune in next month. We have Transfer of Development Rights in Florida with Dr. Evangeline Linkus. And we will see you guys next time. Thank you so much, Jenee, for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, bye.